All right, everyone. I'm pumped for this one. Jeff and I have already talked a little bit. So I have Jeff here, and this story is wild. So since April, just some background information about Jeff. Since April, and I had that correct, right? Since like really diving into this, dropped nearly close to 100 pounds. Not a matter of if it's win with that one. I know it's going to be right around the corner. What's crazier though is what he's been able to do in that time. So when he first started this, just walking or jogging, you shared with me, was a serious, chore or challenge, if you will. Probably out of breath, heart rate climbing up there. Fast forward to now, it's insane. He's knocked out 31 plus mile ultra distances. He's taken on massive hikes, which we'll get into. He's logged close to inside of like 27, 28 weeks, close to 1,000 miles. I think that equates out to almost or right at 2 million, a little over 2 million steps now, because I think you hit that over the weekend. So we're going to dig into how that happened, what flipped the switch for him, and kind of what's been going on behind the scenes, both physically and mentally. And the thing is, a lot of people watching this probably think they could never do what Jeff's done, but I promise you, by the end of this conversation, you're going to realize you can. So let's dive in. 5 questions here. So the first one, Jeff, you actually joined Recalibr8 over a year ago, like signed up technically with me, but didn't really like lock in until this year, springtime. So my question is like what changed? Like, what was the moment or the feeling that finally made you say, like, all right, man, like enough's enough. I'm doing this for real this time.
So I would say last year I was a dabbler. I joined the program, lost a little bit of weight. I think I lost 20 pounds, 25 pounds, and thought that I could do the program Monday through Friday or Thursday, take off Friday night and go eat Mexican food, whatever, on a Friday night, and then Saturday go do whatever, and Sunday do whatever, and we'll start back on Monday. That doesn't really work very well. So that's what I did last year. I did that several times. I lost 20, 25 pounds, probably 3 or 4 different times. Fast forward, I know there's some pictures out there, but New Year's Eve, I was sitting there and I was like, man, I got to do something different. So I set some goals for 2025. Started in January, February, March. I did the same thing I did in 24. So I tried the New Year's resolution thing. That really doesn't work very well, as you know, and I know.
Yeah.
So come April. So to answer your specific question, when I got to April, I was watching some TV. It was around time my son was about to graduate, and there were some birthdays going on, different things, and I watched all this stuff on TV about all these people, there's a lot of people, different theories out there. People take shots, they do surgeries, they do prepackaged foods and all that. And I'm like, man, I lost 20, 25 pounds cutting out some of the things, and I only did it 4 days a week. What would happen if I did it 7 days a week? Yeah. And what if I cut out all that stuff? So on April 20th, I decided to go cold turkey, and I cut out all sugar, the roller dogs, the sodas, all that stuff. And I dropped in the first month, I dropped a lot of weight. Obviously some of it was water, but all the swelling, all that stuff went away, and I'm like, wow. And I wasn't even walking at that time. We'll get into that, I know, a little bit, but I was only doing 1,500, 2,000 steps a day, and I lost 25, 30 pounds like in 4, 5, 6 weeks there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have shared with you guys before. When I say you guys, I mean like clients and people that kind of know a little bit of my story. I feel like so it wasn't like something crazy, like significant, like just a big massive health scare or anything like that. Like when I was heavier, I'm like, it's time for me to lean up and live better, if you will. It was just kind of like a overnight decision where it's just like, I'm getting serious about this now. It was like a light switch, and when you do go all in, that's when things change for you. I shared that video. I know you've shared it with me. Of just, I was so glad you wasted $13 and something odd change. You bought the things that you used to get.
Yeah.
and kind of like showed it. It's weird seeing it in person, like there again, and then just like the savings of like what that like has cost over the course of months, weeks, several years. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's insane.
So you've dropped close to 100 pounds. What's even crazier, like I said, is what your body can do now. 5Ks, no problem. 10Ks, no problem. Ultra distances, you've done several. 25, 26. What did you just tell me? You did 25 miles over this past weekend. Yeah. I know not consecutively, but you're like you needed to get that in because you were trying to get the 2 million steps.
Yeah.
You did that 31-mile push. You did the Manitou. Am I saying that right? Manitou?
Yeah, the Manitou incline.
Manitou incline, which is a serious challenge. I had someone when I shared that photo of you accomplishing that. Dude's in good shape. He's like he's. I think what did he say in the post? He goes, "I'm like in the best shape of my life when I did that." And like that was no joke. And like Jeff's doing it. Jeff's doing it. No one has any excuses. So looking back to the version of you before April, did you ever see yourself doing any of this?
So I will tell you, I thought that I could lose 100 pounds in a year. I'm sitting at 98 pounds here. I know some people just average it up to 100, but it's 98 is what it is.
Yeah.
I knew I could do that in a year. I did the math. It's a math equation, right? If you do so much and you do it over, 52 weeks, you can get there. Mm-hmm. I knew I could do a 5K. I didn't know if I could run it all. I knew I could walk/run it. And I even, when I signed up here, for the first competition, I even put in there, those were some of my goals. I know I sent those to you. I said I'm going to do a 5K, and sometime this year, maybe September, October, I'm going to do the Manitou incline. And I'm sure you're like, what the heck is that guy thinking? There's no way in heck. But no, last year I didn't think I could do any of that. And even in April, I knew I could lose weight, but not what's transpired.
Yeah, it's just kind of getting to. If you're starting from the ground, it's getting to just that next level up, and like you have this different perspective there. And you're like you're hanging out there, you're living in that new world there. And then you reach the next level and the next level, and before you're like, man, I can't believe I'm actually here doing these things that you never would have perceived to be possible. So you're one of those guys that you talk a lot about discipline, mindset, because let's be real, this isn't easy all the time. What's been like the biggest mental change for you? Like what do you think differently about now compared to old Jeff as far as that mental shift?
Consistency and follow the plan, execute the plan. So I have a plan every day of what I'm going to do, every day. And I have since April 20th. And when I put the plan in place, there's times where I didn't hit certain goals those days, but then I would readjust the plan for the next day and figure out how to maneuver that to make it work. Because that's the cool thing about the program. You heard me say that I restarted 3, maybe 4 times in 24. Mm-hmm. I had to restart a couple times. I wasn't walking, in the beginning when I did this. I was just changing what I ate, and I had to because I couldn't walk a quarter mile. I couldn't walk once around the track without heart rate in the 150s, 160s, and thought I was going to have a heart attack, right? So that's kind of the difference. And then just getting up every morning. Everybody that says they don't have time, I've got a busy career, very demanding. Got a family, 2 kids, a wife. I want to thank my wife for all her help on this, because had she not been willing to cook enormous amounts of green beans and chicken and all this stuff, she's the key to it. So I really, without her, I wouldn't be here today. But I'm busy too, but there's nothing that happens 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning unless you're a firefighter in the military or something, or a nurse. You just got to shift. You got to get up a little earlier and go to bed a little earlier, and you still have your family time at night, but you do your stuff in the morning. Now, I'm lucky. I'm doing it morning and night now because I just have the time and stuff. But
you find a way.
You find a way.
You just find a way. And I think anybody that you feel like they have a busy schedule, you can find holes in your schedule, or you can find unuseful time that is this time serving me? Is it helping me? Is it making me better? And if it's not, it's just like, get rid of that shit. Like, but that's your time. That's your window of opportunity right there.
Yeah, and there's 168 hours a week, right? So I break it down. There's 24 hours in a day, right? You've got to work. You've got your family time with your kids, and maybe you've got travel time and all that. Break that down, and instead of spending 18 hours a week watching TV shows or things like that, reallocate 10%. So 10% of my day, every day, a minimum of 10% of my day, 7 days a week, is doing something health and fitness now. It wasn't that way in the past.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, on weekends, there's days that I walk for hours, right? But I do that, and I do it in the morning so that later in the day I can go do the family stuff.
Yeah.
So it doesn't impact. Nobody's up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Do
you, just kind of side question, when you're getting in your exercise, do you listen to anything? Like, do you listen to podcasts, things like that, just educational stuff?
I probably have listened. I'm a big fan of David Goggins. I know all his stuff. Couple things on that. Yeah, I listen to his stuff on that because he puts it in perspective for everybody. It's
tells
really
you the truth.
simple. It's true.
Maybe don't want to hear, but need to hear.
You need, yeah. And so I listen to that. I listen to certain types of music at times, but I will tell you, last year when I was doing what I call the dabbling, figuring out this system, I listened to a few of the podcasts that you put out and some of the modules. This year, I bet I've listened to every module numerous times because when I walk as much as I've walked, I just went back and started over phase 1, phase 2, and I've went through those 6, 7, 8 times.
Yeah.
And you hear something new, you retain something different every time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I brought that up because it's like, that's another thing too. It's like, even just walking, like, we've had so many people be highly successful just walking and moving their body, not worried about weights or anything like that. But walking is one of those things where you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can self-educate, listen. If you're someone that is spiritual, use that time for them. That, and it's, again, you can accomplish a lot with that time if you're putting it in. So besides the scale, the physical, miles logged, what's been your favorite like non-scale victory? It could be something simple like sleeping better, smaller jeans, clothes, things like that. Anything that stands out for you that?
Yeah, there's several, but probably the 2 or 3 things that really stand out. Obviously, I don't wear 4X and 3X anymore. I wear 2X. One of these days I'll probably wear large. Who knows?
You are.
Jean, yeah, no doubt. Jean sizes, obviously down at slacks. I can buy clothes now where I say everybody buys clothes. Most people do. There's lots of options, right? So that's good. But the one thing, there's 2 other things that really stood out. I told you this earlier. I was at a sporting event, and I had taken a customer down close to the field, and you have to come back up the stairs. I jogged up the stairs. I've never jogged up the stairs in a professional stadium in my life. So that stood out as a key moment. That just happened in the last couple of weeks here. And then the other thing is, when I go to a restaurant now, I don't have to ask for a table. I can sit wherever they sit me. If they sit me in a booth, I fit in a booth. Right?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
So that's something that, and only people, there's people listening probably that know what that's like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, and you can change that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's amazing. And that stuff, the physical transformation is great. It's great building that, like, hey, I'm capable of doing these hard things, but those other smaller, like, kind of day-to-day things that it's easy for anybody to take for granted or become numb to it. Eventually you're going to become numb to it, and you're going to be like, this is just my life now. But when you reflect back, it's like, damn, that's pretty cool because I remember how it was before.
Yeah.
Kind of message to others here. So there's probably a lot of people watching this right now who feel stuck. Maybe they doubt that they can ever do something like this, make a change. If you could talk, directly to that version of yourself from a year ago, or even, 28 weeks ago, who's in that same spot, like, what would you tell them?
Wow. There's several things.
Yeah.
I would say, first of all, you got to be consistent. You got to commit. I know everybody says that, but you truly have to commit. It can't be a part-time thing. You've got to do it every day. It doesn't have to be the same thing every day. I chose to do certain things the way I did it. I remember back, I'll share a little story here about something that Josh said to me, so I started this program here in April, and I'm losing the weight, things are going good, and I did the AI autopsy the third week of May, and I said, hey, I'm losing some weight and stuff, and he and Josh asked me, he goes, and I don't know if you remember this, you probably remember this, how many steps you walking? And I said, well, I bumped it up. I was doing 1,500, 2,000. I'm up at 4,000. And he goes, can I be honest with you? And do you remember what you told me?
Maybe not. I don't want to butcher it. So I remember this conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he goes, look, dude. He goes, you showed me what your goals were. You need to add 10, 15, 20% each week until you get, but you got to get to 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
If you don't get to 10,000, that's where the magic starts happening for a lot of people doing the things that you want to do. Not everybody has to do 10,000 steps, so I don't want everybody out there listening to this think that. But the next day, I went from 3,000 steps to 10,000 steps, and then after that, it was 415,000 steps. It was 400,000 steps the next month. That second month there, I did the 26 miles, and people are like, why did you do that? Because more than 26.2 is an ultra, and I'd never done it, and I wanted to see if I could do it. And that moment of going to 10,000 steps, the moment of doing the ultra distance, going so bigger than a marathon, and doing the 3,000 stairs that I did in the bleachers one day prior to going out to the Manitou to do that, which that was a miscalculation on my part. 3,000 stairs in a bleachers is not the same as elevation in Colorado Springs. But going out and doing that incline, there's nothing I can't do. And since then, I've done 25 miles. I've done 31 miles. I had intention this last weekend to do something different, but it was raining and it started lightning, and I'm not going to be out doing that. But, yeah, so I would just say, if you're out there and you don't know how to get started, you've got the tools here. If you're listening to this, you got the Fast Cash, you got the podcast, join the program. If you get in the group, that's the hidden sauce too, is there's all these people in our private group. Most of, if you're not in the group, you don't know, but if you're in the group, you know. Yeah. They're all helping each other. They're all walks of life, whether they're 18 years old all the way up into people in their 60s, or maybe even older than that, I don't know. Yeah. But they're very motivating. They're very helpful. Everybody's on a different journey. Some people are focused on the gym. I got some really good friends that are working out, and they're like freaks in the gym, and they're killing it, and I'm doing the walking thing and the hiking thing. There's others that have really dialed in their nutrition. It's different for everybody. It doesn't matter. You just got to get on the path and do it, and you got to be consistent. You can't do it part-time. Yeah. That's the key.
I want to share one story that you told me that I love. It kind of gives me goosebumps. I did earlier when I was thinking about it. I loved you telling me when you were, I think it was when you did the 26 miles, when you did the marathon distance, where people were like questioning, like, are you sure that you are doing this, or like just worried about, like, and I know that kind of fueled you. And was just like,
two things.
Watch me.
So on that, they literally made me come check in at the counter, or not the counter, but the tent where the time clock and everything was. It was a 6.5 mile loop, and every time they told me I needed to come check in. Well, I thought everybody was checking in until I got in the race, and I figured out I'm the only one going in and checking in up there. They were scared that I might have had a problem. That happened, and then the other thing is when I did the 5K and the 10K, and you know this, I went there, and it goes back to David Goggins a little bit, his story about stealing souls. I did the 10K first. She asked me which one I wanted to do first, and I said, I'm going to do or she asked us to raise our hands. So I raised my hand, so I'm doing the 10K. Everybody else raised, and she told us where we needed to turn around and all the safety about the race. And then she said, those of you doing the 5K, raise your hand. And I raised my hand, and the look on people's faces when they found out I was doing 2 races the same day was classic. And at that point, I knew this program was working, and what I'm doing is working, and ways to go. I got more goals. I mean, if I'm not anywhere close to being done.
Yeah. So no, we're just getting started. We're going to maybe another 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing this. You lots, and just you. I 100% mean this. You inspire me just as much as I might inspire you, and I know in our community. I mean, you're all gas, no brakes, Jeff. And we got some T-shirts made because Jeff is like started throwing that slogan out when he would post and share his things in there, and it's just stuck around. And it's just, I don't know, it's special, it's badass, and I love it. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. And I want to give a shout out to everybody in the school community. And you know who you are. I'm not going to call the individual names because I don't want to miss anybody. But when I do those long distances, I think about a lot of those people, the challenges they're at. And sometimes you'll see me post things to them. A lot of that's happening when I'm walking because I'm thinking about what they said was a struggle. And those people make a difference. So if you join this program, man, and you're out there and you want a strong network of people, get involved with it and kind of get a little vulnerable, and you'll have some good success.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right, man. Thank you so much. Yep.
Thank you.